All right, Shalom. First, I start by saying all praise to Yahweh Shema Shai by Shema Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. You can see Super Typhoon Mawar, currently strongest storm on the planet. Um, Damn, I forgot. So I'm gonna press play on this, and then I'm gonna add some precepts.
One day after making a direct hit on Guam, Typhoon Mawar has strengthened into the strongest storm on the planet. Now it's a super typhoon with winds of 165 miles an hour in the open Pacific, the equivalent of a Category 5 hurricane. By the way, the reason for the difference in names is just location, same types of storms. And so far, this has been the most powerful storm we've seen this year. By next week, Mawar threatens the Taiwan and mainland of China. It was a typhoon with winds of 140 miles an hour when it hit Guam. Massive destruction in its wake. You can see trees are down everywhere, cars on homes, damage to hotels and businesses. At last word, 98% of the island is without power. Mawar clipped the northern tip of the island. Power of a Category 4 hurricane was the force during the storm's landfall. It dumped more than a foot of rainfall. Hard to get all of the information out, though, because the gauges have been busted. The last time that we were able to get the wind reading was at the Guam airport, and that was 105 mile an hour wind. That was before the storm made landfall. Here it is now. You can see such a well-defined storm, very large in its size. If you look at it comparatively, it's almost the same size as Hurricane Ian, which of course impacted Florida last season. It was the biggest most destructive storm we had last season, deadliest as well. Now we look at what's happening with Guam. We'll be following this over the next week or so to see where it hits next. I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great.
All right, so give me 1 second. Mm. All right, because I looked up these typhoons, on the Wikipedia, and this current Mawar typhoon wasn't the strongest typhoon to ever be recorded. It was Typhoon Tip. This one ended off at 109 at 185 miles per hour. Typhoon Tip was 190. Then they get more into details when you look it up. But they say it's only been 313 typhoons, um, super typhoons ever recorded. And they give the dates, which ones was the most destructive, which one's the most costly, etc. So Guam isn't the strongest one that ever occurred. But as you can see, Guam. Typhoon Mawar isn't the strongest that ever occurred. And as typhoon, let me see if I can find it. Slock it. All right. This is what I was talking about. They gonna show you in this that and then I read this also with another typhoon, and I guess this might be common with all of them. You know, brothers, have to do research on that one. But after the typhoons hit Guam, they start to strengthen themselves and become them 180, 90-mile-an-hour winds. So but I'm gonna go ahead and play it and let y'all see it. One of the other things that we're watching this morning, and this is just the spirit of Yahweh Shad, the power of the Lord via the angels. The Lord used the angels to bring these type of events to pass. Is Super Typhoon Mawar. It is now taking aim at China here, but it has left a trail of destruction behind over in Guam. Check out this new video that we got in. And Salaki, another thing, a typhoon becomes a super typhoon once it hits 130 miles, if I'm not mistaken, per hour. If it ain't 130, it's 140. I think they're going to mention that in this one too. This was from yesterday as we saw a hotel ceiling completely caved in. So there's quite a bit of damage that was left behind. And this is one of the strongest storms to impact the U.S. territory in years here. So unfortunately, as many people are going to be picking up the pieces today, Super Typhoon Mawar is going to continue to push westward here. And right now, let's take a look at what has happened here over the past couple of days with Super Typhoon Mawar. So originally, this was just a typhoon. And if you're not familiar with typhoons here, that is what they call hurricanes over in the Pacific. Notice how that eye, it looks like it kind of dissipates here, but we call that eye wall replacement here because what's going to happen is as it ends up taking a direct hit over at Guam, look at how that eye becomes way more defined here. That's the reason why it ended up being upgraded to a super typhoon once it left, impacting those of you in Guam here. And look at how much rain it was falling there. I mean, we saw upwards of 2 feet of rain across a good chunk of the island of Guam here. And at the time, I mean, we also saw some significant winds as well. We saw max winds at 185 miles per hour there. That is definitely comparable to a Cat 5 hurricane here in the United States. Right now, it still has max winds at 180 miles per hour as of the last advisory, and it is still moving westward at about 14 miles per hour. One of the other things that I've been watching there is that air pressure there. It continues to decline there. Right now, it's at 905 millibars here. One of the other cool parts about what we've been noticing here on satellite is that stadium effect there. Notice how you have that very defined eye there, and look at how around that it sort of looks like a stadium. That's what meteorologists refer to as a stadium effect.
I'm Mimi Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube.
All right, Slocky, give me 1 second. All right, Slocky, this is, as you can see, this is where Guam is on the map, and that typhoon is headed towards China. Let's see, let me look at Guam, Philippines, Asia. Guam, Pacific Ocean. A lot of the typhoons take place in the Pacific, or I guess all the typhoons take place in the Pacific Ocean. So, just to get you, Aki, I'm used to looking at maps and stuff, man, because maps are relevant. So, this is a real quick typhoon. Mawar batters Guam, and what used to be a jungle looks like toothpicks, and they can show you in this clip.
It rained all night, folks. Expect soft conditions on the course today.
Better go with Spice today. I'm going with the rain. What a day. You and Spike look.
We are waking up to a rather disturbing scene out there across Guam. We're looking out our door, and what used to be a jungle looks like toothpicks. It looks like a scene from the movie Twister, with trees just thrashed apart. We lost most of our non-coconut trees out there yesterday evening. We have a mess on hand, as much likely most of Guam is dealing with a major mess that's going to take weeks to clean up.
weathered the storm, the worst has gone by. But we are going to continue experiencing tropical storm winds up to about 40, 50 miles per hour.
Super Typhoon Mawar is pulling away from the Marianas. The core of the very heaviest, strongest winds are finally pulling away from Guam. However, the exterior wind field, tropical storm force winds, still overspreads a substantial portion of the Marianas. But those gusts are still exceeding 50 miles per hour. We just had a peak wind remark of 48 knots. That's about 57 miles per hour. The wind damage has been the main concern, but we've had some significant rainfall in the past 24 hours, exceeding a foot, approaching 2 feet in parts of central North Guam.
Right, and you can see they said there's no immediate reports of death, and whatever the case may be, which that might be a lie because that it cut the power to hospitals and such. So unless everybody in that little territory healthy, then there's got to be some deaths going on. But anyways, had got Guam. Guam's governor gave the all clear Thursday after Typhoon Mawar tore through the second largest U.S. territory the night before, ripping off roofs, shredding trees, and leaving much of the remote Pacific island without power and utilities. And you can see the governor was that woman. The world is out of course, and everything is happening the way it's happening because y'all got women in these seats of office when they're supposed to be in their houses, But it says there were minor injuries reported, but no fatalities, according to the office of Governor Leon Guerrero. She declared the all clear Thursday returning the island to its typical condition of typhoon readiness as the National Weather Service lifted a typhoon watch. It says she thanked the people of Guam for keeping themselves safe and protected during the storm. We now continue to focus on our efforts on repairing infrastructure and restoring services to residents, Leon Guerrero said in a statement. After speaking with department leaders and seeing the incredible rapid response to the storm, I am confident we will make significant progress towards restoration of services. It says survey and work crews were assessing damage at military installations because I think it's gonna say here, which were limited to essential personnel only, according to Joint Region Marianas. The typhoon hit land at one of the military bases. I think it's the Air Force base. It said the central and northern parts of the island received more than 2 feet of rain as the eye wall passed. The island's international airport flooded, and the swirling typhoon churned up a storm surge and waves that crashed through coastal reefs and flooded homes. We are waking up to a rather disturbing scene out there across Guam. We're looking out our door, and what used to be a jungle looks like toothpicks. It looks like a scene from the movie Twister, with trees just thrashed apart. Landon, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service, said in a briefing streamed online. Most of Guam is dealing with a major mess that's going to take weeks to clean up, he added. The strongest typhoon to hit the territory of roughly 150,000 people since 2002. Mawar briefly made landfall around 9 p.m. Wednesday as a Category 4 storm at Andersen Air Force Base, on the northern tip of the island. Weather services Service official said. It says power and internet failures make communication on the far-flung island difficult in the early going. Leon Guerrero said in a video message late Thursday morning that roads were passable, but residents should avoid driving and stay home due to ongoing strong winds. We have weathered the storm, she said, adding that the worst has gone by. Guam Power Authority said crews were working to restore power to critical and priority facilities such as a hospital, water wells, and wastewater plants. Guam Water Works Authority was working to restore water service and had issued a notice advising customers to boil their water. So, oh wait, let me see. You brothers can read the rest of this. Oh, it says the storm could threaten Taiwan next week. Mawar regained its status as a super typhoon on Thursday with winds reaching 150. By early Friday, they had strengthened to 175. According to the Weather Service, Mawar, which means rose in Malay, was forecast to maintain that general course and speed through Saturday. It says by early Friday, Mawar was centered 265 miles, 426 kilometers west-northwest of Guam, and 280 miles, 451 kilometers west of Rota, Guam's neighbor to the north, moving westward at 14 miles per hour. So, yeah, you brothers can read the rest of that. All right, so. All right, this Psalm chapter 83, verse 15. So persecute them with thy tempest and make them afraid with thy storm. Isaiah 28 and 2, behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one. Okay, nope, not that one. The Isaiah 29 and 6, thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire.